Welcome everyone to the SEO Mad Scientist test follow-up review. This is Mike speaking. Today we are going to dive into this nyctvexpert.com test that we did. In this test, we were publishing blog posts on the site. Frequently heavy content. As you can see, we got 4, all these posts going out on the 4th. For different TV mounting keywords, interlinking, they were heavily, well, I shouldn't say heavily optimized. They were optimized, written with AI. Nothing too crazy, but we did have, people come in and kind of put some relevant keywords, interlinking, all that good stuff. So we had optimized content going on this site for a few months, couple months, and essentially did a test, tracked the rankings, and saw the impact. During our initial test review, if you missed it, we did see significant increases across the site for keywords and impressions as well. As we can see, I'm going to jump right over here into Search Console as we do a deeper dive into the test. But as you can see, the impressions definitely went up. Now, this can happen just because you're publishing content. As more content gets indexed, it premieres in new SERPs, more people trigger the listing in the SERP, and so you get more impressions. So there's a few other things that we look at when we're kind of diagnosing what happened here. Same with when we look at average position. If we look at average position here for the site, it looks like when we started publishing content, it looks like the average position dropped. But what really happened is that these new pages started to premiere in the SERPs for lower rankings, like this one, TV Mountain Service Manhattan. We didn't have this page or this page here, this tips for wall mounting apartments. So this wasn't here, but then all of a sudden it's showing at 26. So now this listing at 26 drives down the average from, I think if it was 18 here, and then another 26 listing comes in, it's going to get drive down to 17 or, depending on the average. So we really want to dig deep into the details to see what kind of happened here. So the first thing we can look at is the homepage. If we go over here and we click on the homepage of the website, we can see over the course of the beginning to where our tracking cuts off. It was around December 4th. So around here that we stopped publishing blog posts. And if we look at this data here, it looks like our rankings dropped while we were publishing blog posts, then dropped more after we stopped, and then continued to steadily go up. And this makes sense when you think about it, because when you first publish content, Google's premiering it in different parts of the SERP. They're split testing it. It's bouncing all over the place. So these numbers go kind of crazy. Once we stopped publishing content, though, Google kind of crawled the site, figured out what was going on, put everything in its proper place. We started to see some stabilization, and then the rankings were increasingly going up. But let's look at this from a few different perspectives here. So let's look at TV setup help near me, one of our more long tail ones that's currently ranking on the home page. And okay, oh nope, that one's, where's my impressions? That's what I needed, not position, impressions. Wrong one. Okay, let's go. There we go. Okay, let's just do TV mounting service. And let's look at average position. So TV mounting service, and this is probably pulling a blog post, it looks like, if it's came in on September 30th. No, okay. So it looks like this term actually popped more towards the end before we stopped publishing, which that says a lot right there, considering that our entire business and website is about TV mounting services and TV services, and we were live this whole time. And then right here, we see Google start to split test the website in the SERPs. And then we get a little, let's get rid of the impressions. So you got a little string here, test, drop. And now you can see back over here at the back end, we're being split tested again, but a little bit higher as the site started to stabilize. So like I said before, this one's a little more broken, But as we were publishing content, Google didn't really know what was going on. It's crawling our site, trying to figure things out. Once it figured things out, it started premiering us for this term. And as things settled and went on further, it looks like this became even more relevant as Google understood what all this content that was being published was about. So let's get rid of this keyword here. Let's go look at, let's go back to the impressions. And let's go look at expert TV mounting. Okay, so expert TV mounting, average position. Now this one's a very clear image, right? We started posting content in September. At the beginning of September is when the test started. And we have expert TV mounting. Now we have the pages that are ranking here. So it looks like we've split tested some pages because we also have the local page for Manhattan. But it was around halfway through our publishing that we started to see the page getting premiered. And then right towards the end of our publishing, we actually see it dropping, right? Because like right around here is when we stopped publishing. And then there was this period of 3 weeks, 2 weeks roughly, it looks like, Google crawling the site, figuring things out. And then we see stabilization and pretty consistent regular growth, maybe some changes with updates and things like that. So even on the home page with the main target keywords, we can already conclude that we were not just getting massive amounts of impression increases from content being indexed and just showing in the SERPs. We were actually getting primary keywords that were showing in the SERPs. Now, if we actually go look at some of these other pages, like this TV mounting services Manhattan, we can see some of the same things as well. Like, let's go look at, so this is just a local page, right? This isn't one of our blog posts. This is a page that was on the site for local relevance. And we can see that it wasn't even getting premiered until we have it here. So let's look at average position. Again, we see nothing, and then we see stabilization and then growth. If we look at our queries too, let's go look at some blog posts, actually, see what happened there. Let's get one with high impressions. Safety tips for wall mounting, New York City apartments. All right, so this one's been a little crazy. We can see there. So it looks like it was published at the very beginning. Could probably go look at the page. Does it say the date? It doesn't say the date on here. It says it on the blog page, I think. Okay, so it's probably one of the first ones published. We could see a premiere very high. Then it drops. But let's look at the queries. Okay. TV mount for apartment, wall mounting TV in apartment, mounting TV in an apartment. So it's being premiered for all these terms. And it looks like, so we're just getting, now we're very relevant as a site for wall mounting. This might be one of the few posts that we actually talk about apartments and entertainment systems and TVs within apartments. Maybe that's why these were not premiering or showing as well, just drawing some regular conclusions based on here, because the post clearly showed up. And there's a few things that you have to also notice here, because there's a break in rankings. So for this to show at a spot, there's two things that need to happen. Google has to put it in the SERP, and then someone has to search that SERP. So you could see kind of where Google has significantly tested the site within the SERP. Because as you can see right here, we're showing at position 10, and we're getting one impression, just one. But at position 8.5, or even at position 43, we're getting 8 impressions. So there could just be more people searching that day. There could also be a situation where Google is just putting us in more of the SERPs that given day as they're testing that specific term. There's so many variables that play a part in this that this is kind of a little more abstract and it's difficult. But what we can draw a conclusion from this is it looks like that we have some more stabilization. We see more lines and strings appearing after the content stopped, and we're starting to see more significant 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day tests of this page premiering. So let's go look at another keyword and let's just dig a little deeper, see what we got here. Are we still on the home page? Okay, so we have everything unfiltered. Let's go look at one of our biggest local, so TV mounting service NYC. That's our brand. It's everything, right? This is going to cover pretty much a bulk of our keywords from branded. Yeah, and see, look at even they're premiering our service pages. Got a blog post in there, the Manhattan page, the home page, because this keyword is all of our keywords. It's our brand name, it's mounting services, and so on. So let's go look at the first impressions. Okay, so looks like impressions went up and then slowly came down, right? Let's look at the average position. The average position went up, came down, went back up, and then held steady. So this is an interesting find. It's hard to say if there's any correlation or conclusion with our blog posting because this dip here doesn't really make much sense unless maybe we had a stagnant time where we stopped publishing blog posts, maybe that was the case. Let's see if I can do, and then go look at posts. Okay, so yeah, we had a massive gap in the publishing. So September, we published a ton of content, and then we waited a little bit, and then it looks like October there was a bunch, and then we did one at the end. And so if we look at this page, or we're looking at the TV mounting. So in the beginning, the 21st, we were publishing some heavy content, not a lot to do with mounting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 50% of the posts. Oh, we got some more in here too, it looks like. This is September 18th to September 28th. September 18th. So it dropped prior to us publishing all the mounting services. September 18th. So we published this page with mounting services on the 3rd. On the 3rd, we published that. Looks like we see some position gains. And then it drops. And then on the 23rd or 20th, 21st, 3 days after the drop, we publish a ton of content. And our main keyword pops back, or the keyword we're looking at right now pops back up. So the correlation I'm seeing is that the immediate result of publishing relevant content seems to correlate. Google definitely seems to be looking at what they're crawling and associating it to the rest of the site, probably on a level even more so than to that specific post. Because like when we were looking at an individual blog post, the queries on it, remember it was very sporadic and broken. But the impact of the keyword on this homepage is not very sporadic. It seems very measurable. Like if we go to TV Mountain Manhattan, this one might be a little different. We'll see. Yeah, so this is an inner page, and even though it started showing on the 10th, we could see even after it started showing, the publication of this page was treated very different than the homepage. The homepage rankings were correlated and more so accepted by Google from the content and relevance on the pages that were being published on the site. The inner pages and blog posts themselves kind of experienced a very different thing. Like if we look at these, we probably see even more sporadic rankings. So the blog posts themselves, some of them rank very well, some of them didn't rank very well. Even the ones that did rank very well, we saw a lot of back and forth. Navigating the hours of operation for a TV mounting service in NYC. We got one impression. We got one impression. in position 2. Premiered really good for the keyword, which it doesn't show, but it's not showing really, right? And that's the thing that we as SEOs kind of don't really see, that if content is not indexed and not necessarily performing, what impact is it actually having on our site, and does removing it hurt things more than help it? In this case, we can definitely see that just because a page isn't premiering super well in the SERPs doesn't mean that it's not influencing the rest of the site. Now, what it could mean is that if we look at, say, this page here, how to mount a TV properly, comprehensive guide, and we look at the queries, we got TV mounting Toronto, right? So we can look at the individual pages, see what keywords they're being tested for. We should probably have a Toronto page if we want to optimize this more. And we should also try and make this optimized more for TV mounting guide, because we're not even premiering for those terms. So if we want to optimize this for TV mounting guide, we can go back, optimize the page more. But then we can also go back and start publishing more content, or even re-optimize our previous content about TV mounting. And we can link to this page, this blog post about, TV mounting guide, get the full guide, download our guide, whatever it is, and start sending a lot of that, start building that relevance across the site. Because TV mounting is something we're relevant for. The directive terms, how to and guide, we're not. If we started publishing a ton of guides and how-to content about TV mounting storage, where to buy TV mounts, the perfect guide on how to find the perfect TV mount, all those things, Google will start correlating that into these already established pages from what it looks like we're seeing here. I don't want to make any definitive statements. That's not what we do as scientists. We analyze, we take data, and then we retest. But so let's just take a look at one more thing here. Let's look at the About Us page. About Us page, we could see a lot of split testing. What I wanted to do actually, so here it is, TV mounts, NYC TV mounts, NYC TV mounting service. It actually got more impressions for this one. NYC TV mounting service. All right, so here we can see, okay, the homepage is getting more impressions and ranking more. I wonder if the homepage isn't ranking anymore in the last 28 days. Or not the homepage, I mean the About page was what I was trying to say. Yes. Okay. So if we look back to the very beginning, we can see Google was actually split testing our About page and our home page for NYC TV mounting services. And obviously our About page was premiering much more worse than the home page. But as we published content, and I'm making this conclusion myself again, but the belief that I have is that because of the interlinking and the things we did with this content, we told Google what these pages were. NYC TV mounting service goes to the home page. We weren't linking to the About page. Now, the About page is about our company, and our company provides the service. Information. It kind of makes sense when you think about it. Google shows About pages when people are looking for services and things that, those people probably want to learn about the company, right? But as we publish content and sent Google bot to the appropriate pages, built interlinks, we can see the significant impact. Now, I shouldn't say significant. It's 1 in 23 impressions, right? But Google clearly is not testing the About page anymore. And this is something I've seen common in campaigns. We will see the About Us page and the home page almost fighting for terms. From an intent standpoint, again, it does make sense, because if someone was looking for a service or something, and learning about your company could be a very important piece of that intent, which is why I also think having a small About Us company, previous services, things like that on your service pages is important as well. So With that said, though, I want to just dig into that one. Also, I don't believe I had found anything else too extravagant. We can easily draw the conclusion that publishing relevant inner content that is well optimized, not thin content, interlinked, does provide value to the base relevance of those posts. I can't really say it's the homepage or inner pages. We see a lot of mix there. The homepage seems to be being the most secure, the most steady in its rankings, right? So like when we look at the homepage rankings for main keywords, the blog posts, the new content generally seem to stabilize that more. Sorry, this is that's an inner page actually. The blog posts seem to stabilize that more. It was the fresh new content that we put on our site that doesn't really seem to stabilize. So it's like the new content supported the current content and the rest of the website. That gained really good benefits and stabilized, but now we have this new content that's kind of unstable, incomplete, missing more relevance and things like that. And so that might lead to needing to do more testing. For example, like I said, publishing more guides, more how-tos, more things like that, so we can maybe get more relevance for the guide terms across the site, because then we'll be more of a authority on providing information and helping, not just a service company. So that's it. I think that's all we got for today. Deep dive into the NYCTV experts.com test. Again, we were publishing just a ton of blog posts all at once over a couple months and tracking the results, seeing what that kind of just publishing and indexing and crawling will do for the site. We can pretty much conclude that publishing new content frequently can have benefits. Even a lot of the content we published had very crossed over relevance, meaning TV mounting was a primary term for all of them, but then they had much more long-term topical meanings behind them when you read into them, something that we see a lot when we talk about cannibalization and competing SERPs and so on. But at the end, we can see that this type of optimization does produce a result. We do want to go back and do more testing, though, see how we can refine the blog posting process, see if we can get a more controlled result so we can specifically target a keyword, not even necessarily just with the interlinking, but with the topical relevance and concepts being presented within the blog posts themselves, like I mentioned with the guides and so on. So with that, make sure you subscribe to the SEO Mad Scientist. Watch for all of our updates, and we will see you next time in the next update.